In this episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Freeway Rick Ross, a former drug dealer turned motivational speaker, shares his incredible life story. Ross explains how he unknowingly became involved in the drug trade during the Contra versus the Sandinistas war, where the United States government was selling crack in the hood to fund the war. Despite being a young kid from South Central Los Angeles who couldn't read, Ross became one of the biggest drug dealers, moving millions of dollars worth of drugs daily. Ross spent 20 years and 3 months in prison, where he educated himself by reading over 300 books to ensure he wouldn't return to a life of crime upon release. Upon his release, he struggled to adjust to the outside world, as everything had changed in the 20 years he was incarcerated. However, a chance encounter with Joe Rogan led to the creation of a t-shirt that changed Ross's life. The t-shirt, which read, "The real Rick Ross is not a rapper," became a huge success, earning Ross over $100,000 in a single day. Ross emphasizes the importance of giving people a second chance and providing opportunities for those who have made mistakes in the past. He believes that everyone deserves a chance to turn their lives around and contribute positively to society. He also discusses the challenges faced by the homeless population, highlighting the need for programs that offer support and assistance to help individuals rebuild their lives. Ross shares his experiences working with homeless organizations and witnessing the dire conditions faced by those living on the streets. He discusses the importance of providing resources and support to help homeless individuals reintegrate into society and lead fulfilling lives. Ross reflects on his own journey and the impact of receiving a second chance through the success of the t-shirt business. He acknowledges the role that others played in his transformation and emphasizes the need for more programs and initiatives to help individuals in similar situations. The conversation also delves into the potential of artificial intelligence and the role it could play in addressing societal issues such as crime and homelessness. Ross and Rogan explore the idea of re-energizing communities and providing opportunities for individuals to learn new skills and trades to improve their circumstances. Ross explains how he transitioned from being a successful tennis player to entering the drug business. He highlights the lack of guidance and mentorship in his life, leading him to look up to street figures involved in criminal activities. He saw the financial opportunities in selling drugs and was drawn to the lifestyle of drug dealers who seemed to be living lavishly. He describes how his discipline and work ethic from tennis translated into his drug business, where he was dedicated to making money and providing for his family. He reflects on how his success in the drug business was due to his ability to follow instructions, listen, and learn from others in the industry. Despite the illegal nature of his activities, he acknowledges the valuable skills and knowledge he gained during his time as a drug dealer. Ross reflects on the impact of the drug business on his life and the community. He acknowledges the negative consequences of drug dealing, including addiction and violence. He shares his realization that drugs were not the solution and that he needed to find a more valuable way of making a living. He discusses the challenges he faced in the drug business and the temptations that came with it, such as trying cocaine. He recounts his experience with cocaine and how he made a conscious decision to stop using it after realizing its destructive nature. Ross talks about the legalization of marijuana and his involvement in the legal marijuana industry. He shares his excitement about the opportunities in the marijuana business and how he became a legal marijuana dealer. He discusses the benefits of marijuana and how it can be used responsibly. He emphasizes the importance of responsible drug use and challenges the negative stereotypes associated with drugs. Ross reflects on the current state of society and the impact of drug laws on communities. He criticizes the criminalization of drugs and the empowerment of criminal elements through illegal drug markets. He advocates for the legalization of drugs and highlights the need for a more sensible approach to drug policy. He discusses the role of power and privilege in society and calls for a more inclusive and supportive community. Ross emphasizes the importance of giving back to the community and helping others. He shares his experiences of helping people and the fulfillment he gets from making a positive impact. He believes that true success comes from lifting others up and using one's resources to benefit the community. He challenges the notion of power and privilege and advocates for a more compassionate and supportive society. Ross discusses the impact of negative influences and how he learned to weed out negative thoughts from his mind. He shares a personal anecdote about being approached to sell drugs again after years of being clean and how he had to resist the temptation to return to his old ways. He emphasizes the importance of making conscious choices and staying true to one's values and commitments. The conversation shifts to the topic of the music industry and a rapper who goes by the name Rick Ross. Ross expresses his frustration with the rapper using his name without permission and the lack of respect or acknowledgement shown towards him. He recounts the legal battle he faced in trying to reclaim his name, but ultimately lost the case due to technicalities and statute of limitations. Despite the challenges he has faced, Ross remains focused on making a positive impact and helping others. He shares his involvement in boxing management, where he mentors and supports young fighters to avoid the pitfalls he experienced in his past. He believes in the power of discipline and focus in achieving success and aims to guide others towards a better path. The conversation delves into the world of boxing, with Ross discussing his admiration for fighters like Terrence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather, who exemplify discipline and focus in their careers. He highlights the importance of staying dedicated and focused on one's goals, even in the face of challenges and temptations. He sees boxing as a platform for positive influence and mentorship, where fighters can inspire others through their dedication and hard work. Ross also touches on the challenges of fame and success, emphasizing the need to stay grounded and focused on what truly matters. He shares personal anecdotes about his interactions with famous individuals and the importance of humility and respect in all aspects of life. He believes in the power of setting a positive example and making a difference in the lives of others, regardless of past mistakes or setbacks. Ross delves into the idea of a rogue element within the government that may have been involved in drug trafficking. He mentions how the government turned a blind eye to drug trafficking in order to achieve their objectives, such as funding black ops projects. He also discusses the Iran-Contra scandal and the Vietnam War, suggesting that drug trafficking may have played a significant role in these conflicts. Ross criticizes the mainstream media for its bias and lack of coverage on important issues, such as drug trafficking and social issues. He emphasizes the importance of alternative sources of information, such as podcasts, in providing a platform for marginalized voices and discussing taboo topics. He also discusses the influence of music, particularly hip-hop, in shaping societal norms and perceptions. The conversation delves into the cycle of ignorance and misinformation that perpetuates societal problems. Ross reflects on the tendency of people to cling to their beliefs and resist change, even in the face of overwhelming evidence. He discusses the role of propaganda and manipulation in shaping public opinion and influencing behavior. He highlights the need for critical thinking and independent research to counteract misinformation and challenge the status quo. Ross touches upon the idea of government manipulation of popular culture, particularly in the promotion of criminal behavior and social unrest. He references a controversial letter that circulated on the internet, alleging a secret meeting among record labels to promote criminal activity through music. He suggests that the government may have a vested interest in perpetuating societal unrest to maintain control and suppress dissent. Ross emphasizes the power of information and education in challenging established narratives and promoting positive change. He advocates for greater transparency and accountability in government actions, as well as a more critical approach to media consumption. He encourages listeners to question authority, seek alternative sources of information, and engage in meaningful dialogue to address social issues and promote justice. The conversation shifts to the music industry, with Ross discussing the influence of record labels and producers on shaping artists' careers. He reflects on the perception of success in the music industry and the impact of marketing and promotion on artists' reputations. He shares his observations on the changing landscape of the music industry and the role of social media in shaping public perception. As the discussion continues, Ross delves into the challenges and stigma faced by individuals involved in illegal activities, such as drug dealing. He recounts his experiences with law enforcement and the criminal justice system, highlighting the dehumanizing treatment and classification of drug dealers as violent criminals. He reflects on the impact of his incarceration and the process of writing his autobiography while in prison as a way to share his story and challenge misconceptions about his past. Ross concludes the interview by reflecting on the lessons he has learned from his past experiences and the importance of sharing his story to educate others. He emphasizes the value of mentorship, critical thinking, and adaptability in navigating challenging situations and pursuing success. He expresses his gratitude for the opportunity to share his perspective and insights with a wider audience, and he hints at future projects, including a potential podcast and a forthcoming movie about his life.